You guys remember the live action TV series about Clark's early days, Superman's early days before he becomes the full blown Superman, right? The series of Smallville. Well, this universe is probably a lot bigger than you thought. Because not only did it run for 10 seasons, but it also ran for 11th season because the comic lore to add more to the mythos. It explores some more of the characters that we saw in the live action series, but it goes more in depth in the comic continuity. Like, seriously, this Smallville universe has its very own Justice League, their own version of Batman, you guys already know, their own version of Martian the Manhunter. He's a literal Martian from Mars. And when you dig deeper into the comic lore, there's other Martians that exist in this universe too. That's when we're going to get into the character I want to talk about today, Miss Martian. She ends up getting tutored by Martian Manhunter himself, who's another Martian. You know, both the Martians getting cool with each other. I mean, it's even confirmed the hit TV series continues as a comic, Smallville, you see? Similar to Martian Manhunter, this page right here pretty much explains it for you. One world, alone in the void, torn asunder by misunderstandings, by hate. Like, it's a literal war. You see the white skin. Like, they got their little form of racism issues on their planet. It's like this thing known as the Martian Holocaust. A failure of an entire civilization. This is the same kind of lore you're familiar with if you know about the main continuity Martian Manhunter. It's one of them situations where you look into the lore of the history of the Martians, the white Martians versus the green Martians. She was involved in this war, so her people sent her away so she can get away from all this mess on Mars, sending her to Earth. In the Smallville universe, there was like this checkmate organization. They was like literally an undercover top secret organization that be capturing aliens. Miss Martian was captured. Yeah, Amanda Waller exists in this universe. She shapeshifted into the jailer's daughter, ended up kind of getting cool with the jailer. The jailer ended up dying. This is pretty much her memory. Martian Manhunter was able to see all that. Martian Manhunter took her in. Let's get into it though, shall we? Just like Martian Manhunter, she can shapeshift, blend into the environment, look like a normal human if she wishes. But this is how her actual form looks. She's one of the most versatile characters because she's a Martian, just like Martian the Manhunter. So she'll choose to either look like this. If she wants to, she can give herself a modernized Martian look. Like, she makes this white skin form look more civilized. Like this, kind of mimicking Martian Manhunter's style, like the way the outfit looks via shapeshifting. And one of the weaknesses of a Martian, they're scared of fire, of course. Just like Martian Manhunter, she can survive in space and she can fly too. She can read minds, go in your head. Like, you see how she moves her hands toward her head like this. That's how you know when she's trying to go in your head, basically. These psionic beings be dangerous, and that's what she is. I mean, she has super strength, but one of the main things she specializes in is her mental ability. She will attack you mentally. What psionic being doesn't have telekinesis? That seems to be a common Martian ability. It's implied she can do this too. She lifted up Superboy when he couldn't fly. She said, "You having trouble flying?" She can just lift him up. They even talk about telekinesis. We even see her lift up Superboy with her telekinesis here, for example. So these two can literally almost, one could say, fly together. You see like the little aura, that's how they draw it when she's using her telekinesis on them. Literally confirms she can read minds. Just like Green Martian, she has her own form of blast power or Martian vision, or one could say laser vision. There's implications she can do the intangible crap, like how Martian Manhunter can do, like literally able to walk through walls. There's implications she can do that too. I mean, she does have his powers, similar Martian abilities. It would make sense for her to have it. You can see on occasions like this of her using intangibility, phasing through this robot, fighting alongside Martian the Manhunter. Phasing, Martian Manhunter will be like considered a part of the Justice League. This Smallville universe has their own version of Teen Titans, younger superhero type characters. She ended up joining that organization throughout her adventures, ends up telling one of the members, Superboy of this universe, about her life, and the two get really close. That's a common theme in comics, right? It's little vague moments like this that imply she has super speed. It looks like she's moving like a blur here, for example. How strong is she? Well, physically speaking, she's a beast. You see her literally handling humans with ease. They're literally nothing to her might. Beings without superpowers, there's implications they don't stand a chance when it comes to her strength. She can make claws out of her hands, shape-shifting wise. The best way right off gate to get an understanding of her strength is to look at Martian the Manhunter of this Smallville universe. We've seen them clash, and it seems like the strength gap isn't large. We literally seen her take a punch from him right here, and she's able to counter back and push him or have him reeling on the ground, making him like he's struggling. So there's implication that the strength gap isn't vast between them. This is important considering how strong Martian Manhunter of this universe is. We've actually seen Martian Manhunter of this universe stop a punch from Superman Clark when he was young. When it comes to narratively speaking, I don't want to like make it seem like I'm trying to say she's equal to him, because they're considered the little leagues compared to the Justice League. Because they say here, why didn't you just go after Superman, small potatoes? I mean, Jay Garrick is like an old man, and he's telling them like they got a lot to learn, basically. So one could say they're like in training. Maybe one day she could be equal to Martian Manhunter, but I don't think the gap is astronomical though. She should probably at least be half his strength, or 80% his strength or something. Who knows, really? I mean, sure, I don't want to assume that they're exactly equal, because Martian Manhunter could have been holding back. Who knows? But let's just say they're not too far off when it comes to power level. Like, obviously, there's no exact math to this, but if there was like a hypothetical grid, I would say she would still technically be below him. Maybe, who knows, really. But the gap isn't super crazy astronomical, if that makes sense. Or else, I don't think the writers would have animated it like this, with him struggling this hard if the gap in strength was vast, right? And we know Martian Manhunter, with his super strength, he can use his super strength to punch really hard, too. Like, she's giving him awfully a lot of issues for the gap to be large, right? There's no way the gap is super large, right? Martian Manhunter can slugfest it with Kryptonians of this universe. I want you guys to remember what top tier Kryptonians like Superman has done. Just remember that right quick. I mean, Smallville Clark was literally able to move a planet away from Earth, like the planet of Apocalypse that was about to mind control everybody. You know, Darkseid was about to mind control everybody. Superman had the incredible strength to move this planet away, and you telling me the top tier Martians are in the same ballpark of strength with this guy? And he did this with ease. He's not even out of breath. But yet she could take hits from Martian the Manhunter when they was beefing right here at this second and had him on the ropes here in strength. So even if we assume she's a little bit weaker than Martian the Manhunter or a little bit weaker than Superman, which she's got to be somewhere in their ballpark, even if they have the advantage, that would mean she still be able to move like planetoids as a bare minimum, even if we don't want to assume the same size planetoid as Superman. Maybe like planetoids like the moon that are decently smaller than the Earth, she could technically move if we assume she can move planetoids too. Superman and Martian Manhunter can easily move stuff this big, or planetoids at least this wide. So I think it's a fair, decent assumption to assume she can do something like this, right? I mean, she is the protege of Martian Manhunter with literally the same exact abilities. Her having the strength to lift or move planetoids just makes sense. No matter really how you look at it, she should be able to literally move the moon with her muscles. With her muscles alone. I mean, she does lack screen time, but do you think she can move the moon with her telekinesis or a planetoid with her telekinesis? There's a lot of screen time she lacks, but there's a good possibility she could, I would say. Like, I don't want you guys to get it twisted. Like, in this particular occasion, she's not as trained as good as Martian Manhunter, but she seems to have decent strength, just not a trained fighter like Martian Manhunter is. Like, right here, you see her strike Martian Manhunter, and you actually see blood implications that she can damage him. When it comes to raw speed, just like how Martian Manhunter can move at speeds faster than the speed of light, like on Smallville, it is implied she can keep up because they both fly into space, implying to be able to fly to a different planet. We've seen occasions like this in Smallville of him flying all the way to the sun in an extremely short amount of time. There's implications she can fly like this too when it comes to light speed or massively faster than light speeds. Based on scans like this of them casually just flying through space, honestly. It's implications she can fly at that speed too. It's really hard to pinpoint her limits, but I definitely think at the very least, if you don't believe she can move planetoids, she should be able to move mountains at least, or even cities, or at least have the blast power to make them shake or tremble at the very least. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts on her limits. Like, if you don't believe she's as strong as Martian Manhunter, do you think she could tremble smaller planets like super small moons or something, even if you don't believe she can move the Earth or something, just due to the fact she's somewhere in the ballpark with Martian Manhunter? Like, there was a strong being like this, for example, Clark tried to punch, he was having major issues with in Smallville. And we see him get obliterated by, guess who? The Smallville version of Martian the Manhunter. So, like, Miss Martian has to be in the Kryptonian range via writer intent. Narratively speaking, she just has to be that strong. See, it's stuff like that that makes me believe she definitely could move a planetoid if Martian Manhunter could in this universe. Even if you're going to say she's below him, she would have to be able to move, I don't know, a smaller planetoid. Maybe not the one as big as Earth, or maybe a small moon or something. You know, there's a lot of ways you can look at it. I want to hear what you guys think. Have you guys read these Smallville comics? There's some lore in these junks. You might want to read them. But before I get going, I got to give a quick thanks to the donators real quick. Respect Miss Martian in Smallville. Respect her telekinesis and her strength, you know. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.